communities around Uganda, with every participant following the Ministry of Health guidelines and SOPs to stop the spread of corona. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel Shops, New Park, Chagwe Road, ShopRite Building, Benchwanuka, Tobani Center, or Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select payment, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2021, brought to you by UNAIDS, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by...
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to UBC News Tonight on this 20th day of November 2021. I'm Lauryne Kazimoto, and there is the most anticipated presidential address that is coming through any time from now. And with me in studio do have Jagenda Semakula, and would like to know exactly, we'll just get straight into it. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Lauryne, and good evening to all our viewers, wherever they are.
So far, how is everything?
Well, it's just another very weekend. We are anticipating and waiting to hear from His Excellency the President, and we expect that he will be addressing us very soon. The last time he spoke to us was on the 28th of October, when he talked to us on two issues. That was COVID-19, and of course to also talk to us about security. And he tweeted and promised that he will be addressing us and talking to us about, again, security and COVID. So we just want to wait for him to speak to us very shortly here from any time from now.
All right. And just looking at some of the events that had been happening in just the past few days, there's been a lot of tension amongst the Ugandans and even those abroad. You could tell, I mean, from different tweets and messages. What are your views about, the security situation currently in Uganda?
2 days before there were bombs in Kampala, there was a bomb in Liverpool. In the UK, and it didn't get all the news because I think they know how to manage their affairs. So when the bomb was in Kampala, of course it became a global issue, and it went everywhere. Now His Excellency the President is the Commander-in-Chief, and he's the most consumer of intelligence information. So when anything like this happens, he took oath of office on the 12th of May to protect and to defend the people of Uganda and Uganda as a sovereign country. So when anything like this happens, then it's incumbent upon him as head of state to come and address us and of course allay the fears of the people. We want to hear from the President what next when we see all the things happening and coming on, because he's the topmost commander of this country.
All right. Well, as we continue to wait for the presidential address, well, let's get into what is happening elsewhere around the country. Now, the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, has toured Buyikwe Industrial Park in Buyikwe District that is expected to host close to 100 factories. Now, the park was inaugurated by President Yoweri Museveni on the 7th of May 2019, and the Premier Robina Nabanja was informed by some investors that high electricity tariffs have hindered fast production. Let's take a look at the story.
Paid a courtesy working visit to Buyikwe Industrial Park at Buwampa in Buyikwe District. The park was inaugurated by President Yoweri Museveni on 7th May 2019 and is expected to create jobs for several youth. Currently, there's a tire cycling factory, a steel and iron bar rolling factory, and a pesticide processing factory, among others. The Premier toured all the 10 factories to see how the factories can start full production. Prime Minister Nabanja asked one of her staff to sit on a wheelbarrow that she pushed with the aim of ensuring that goods produced are of high standards. Later, a meeting was held with the community leadership and the investors to draw strategies how best they can move. Investors told the Prime Minister that high electricity tariffs have hindered their production, something that might cause high pricing of final products.
The President directed me to come here to see that the electric tariff, because currently they are paying 9 cents and during peak hours they pay 13, 14 cents. And that is a lot of money, US dollars. That's a lot of money we want to have, and because of that they claim, or they say, their cost of production is high. And we want to reduce on the cost of production so that they can export to the neighboring countries, especially the East African market, and of course COMESA.
Meanwhile, the area leadership also disclosed to Premier Nabanja that youth working in these factories are earning 6,000 shillings per day, with some working without protective gears.
Okusomoza kwe tulina olwaleero nti abakozi bakyafuna akasente katono nnyo kubanga olunaku casual labor since kakaaga olaba ngezo sente ntono nnyo okuyimirizawo omuntu alina amakaage.
Abakozi kye batukaba era kye batutawanyizaamu ffe nga ba LCs ba leaders baabwe batutawa kintu kimu. Wali factory emu etutawanyiza nnyo namba 23 ekola footwear factory eyo sente eri ku mitwalo 15 ate nga bw'omanyi nti mitwalo 15 sawa tekyakola bulungi omulimu okusomesa kuliisa kukola.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, ekizibu ekirala kye tulina y'ensasula embi era ne conditions ezitali nnungi mu bifo erimu abaana baffe mwe bakolera.
I know this is something that will be realized because at the moment
Members of Parliament asked the Premier to remind the President about his pledges of construction of high-quality markets in Buyikwe and also improving road infrastructure.
Yensonga y'amakubo meya ajogeddeko tulina amakubo mangi nnyo agagenda mu industries ez'enjawulo naye amakubo ago gali mu Sorry State.
Kumanyi nga Nyenga division nga sub county eno, most of the land is public land. Osanga abantu nga ina land title nga kolako ebyapa ate nga waliwo ba squatters ab'ebibanja.
Public land abavunaanyizibwako ba district, si central government, and therefore land board ebyebiriko ebyetya
bafunako minister n'abakooba yajja mu kitundu kino n'agigala for 2 weeks.
Later, the Premier visited Lugazi Market, where she also addressed the market vendors.
Ensonga esemberayo ddala etuleese wano y'ensonga y'akatale era twagala okubeegayirira muwulirize bulungi Right Honorable Prime Minister kuba ono waali kitegeeza gavumenti yonna eri luddawa eri wano. Kakati ekyo ekyapa ekyakatale eno ng'oba yali public land obuyinza obukasazaamu webuli. kitegeeza nti landboard eyaliwo yali nfunyo abantu abataagaliza bantu.
Reporting for UBC TV, Helen Barbara Gizamba.
Thank you, Helen Barbara. Now moving on, Uganda People's Defense Forces is seeking to access Democratic Republic of Congo to clear the region of allied democratic forces. Now the quest follows recent bomb attacks in Kampala that saw some people killed and several others injured. The UPDF spokesperson, Brigadier Flavia Buyekwaso, says that once given a chance, ADF can be defeated the same way they were defeated more than 10 years ago. Henry Okrut with the story.
Intelligence is being gathered.
Over time, the forces have built capacity.
Some arrests have been made.
We have so many leads which I cannot talk about here.
And some alleged violent suspects have been put out of action.
It's not that it is our culture now to shoot, but it is under those circumstances.
Remnants of the allied democratic forces have been zeroed on those behind the recent terror attacks in Kampala. It should be recalled that the last time they were active in Uganda, they were badly defeated.
The last time the ADF were here was in 2007. They came 100 of them. Within 2 weeks, only 13 went back. The 87 remained here in a lying position.
Despite being outside Uganda, they are reported to have successfully recruited locally, something attributed to links with groups that share similar ideologies.
In security, we call it fighting an asymmetrical enemy. This enemy, asymmetrical in a way that is not going to come in front of you and attack you and fight you. He's very invisible. He's mixed within the public. He lives within among us. Sometimes you may not even be able to actually tell that until something happens, because we have apprehended people and someone said, hey, you mean that person, I was talking to that person, you mean that person is a terrorist?
The fact that they were forced back to the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo makes it necessary for Ugandan troops to access their hideout. With this, the UPDF seeks to prevent them from not just attacking Uganda, but any other country in Africa and beyond.
But what is keeping us, actually, I would say that what is keeping us from stamping this out from Uganda completely, and also is the problem of the neighborhood. The problem of the neighborhood over which we do not have authority. And if we had been given a chance to deal with it by now, this problem would not have come.
The capacity may have been built to fight acts of terror, but what explains the shooting of terror suspects?
Where a security personnel goes to someone, they'll leave whatever they are doing and put their hands up. Because one of the reasons why is the moment you do not do that, it will be read or it will be interpreted that you want to fight. This person has come to arrest you. And what that person is supposed to come to arrest you is they will shoot you.
Uganda recently suffered attacks from terrorists, an act claimed by the Islamic State and also linked to the ADF. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The authorities of Terewode Women's Community Hospital in Soroti have raised concern over the rising cases of obstetric fistula in their facility among young mothers. Now, the facility has registered most of the cases who are young girls aged 18 and below, and it has been partially attributed due to the impact of the lockdown.
The Terewode Women's Community Hospital in Soroti is burdened with the treatment of obstetric fistula that often occurs when women are neglected during labor.
The main condition we treat at the hospital is obstetric fistula, which usually is an adverse effect of neglected labor. And the patients usually present to us with urinary leakage after delivery. This usually occurs either immediately or a few weeks after delivery.
This is the condition that prompted government, together with the development partners, to establish Terewode Women's Community Hospital in Soroti to repair their urinary linkages.
Terewode has existed now for 20 years, campaigning against obstetric fistula and improving maternal health. And 2 years ago, we opened up Terewode Women's Community Hospital, which is dedicated in providing obstetric fistula care and in a holistic way.
However, the facility is overwhelmed with obstetric fistula cases registered among the young mothers of 18 years below.
And we are seeing a trend of increasing fistula cases amongst the young, that is women below 18 years. This may be attributed due to the lockdown when schools have been closed, but we are seeing a rise in teenage mothers with obstetric fistula.
The report by Terewode has indicated the traumatizing challenges faced by the fistula victims in the community.
And some of them fear the stigma that's associated with utilization of family planning services, especially given their young age. Most of them, from the study findings, are still living with parents, desiring to live with their parents, desiring to be loved once again by their parents. Others are struggling, constantly working to reunite with the men, their partners, the men who made them, who impregnated them. They still want to live with them. They want to stay in those marriages, for some of them. But how are they going to reunite if we do not integrate extensive health education?
Terewode registers more than 300 cases of obstetric fistula, which they say it should be brought to the government's attention before the situation worsens. Okow Joseph compiled the story.
All right, now UBC News Tonight has come to a pause, and now everybody is ready, right? Everyone is seated. The anthems are playing.
Just told that the president has actually arrived now,
yes,
and ready to speak to us. I think we now just need to welcome the people to State House, where the president is, to address the nation this afternoon or evening.
Countrymen and countrywomen, tonight I've come here to talk to you about vaccination